Oh, 30, 40 years from now when I retire, I promise you I won't do a damn thing. Howard just decides to be on podcast everywhere, start his own multimedia broadcast company, and is introducing new shows and podcast appearances seemingly every day. Howard Simon is joining Sean Murphy, Kyle Turner, myself, Greg Bauk on the In the Huntcast for our season preview. Howard, calm down.
First off, I didn't want to do anything. I don't want to do podcasts, but A, you were a nice guy, and B, I have Jewish guilt whenever I say no to anybody. So that's why I'm doing the podcast. I'm supposed to be not broadcasting.
I have Catholic school guilt, so now I feel bad asking. So this is, let's just stop.
Saying no, so it's a guilt fight we have going on.
What's this new podcast you're starting, Howard? I heard right before we started. What's going on with this?
Kyle hates competition. He's trying to get.
I'm a little. If it's what I think it might be, what the guys told me, I'm going to be a little mad at a certain co-host of yours.
Okay, see, I need to know what you're talking about because I'm not starting any podcast.
No, leading the charge. It's not a podcast.
Oh, the thing with Channel 7. Oh, yes. Okay.
This is not a podcast. Okay. This is broadcast.
Greg, you told me it was a podcast with Joe B, and I was going to be furious that Joe has not asked me to be his co-host. So now I can back off. I'm not a TV guy. Look, I'm not wearing sleeves, so they can't let me on TV, so that is totally fine. Howard, your job. I'm all right.
Oh, that podcast. I mean, the one hour night podcast Biscaglia and I want to do. Oh, that's not for publication yet.
That's the sleeveless podcast. They only talk about shirts with no sleeves, and they didn't think you'd be a good fit.
Yep.
Howard, you might not know this. Kyle is Joe B's #1 fan. Loves Joe B. So that's why.
Oh well, hey, I'm right behind you, Kyle. I'm a big fan. I love Joe B too. So yeah, that's cool.
Matt Bovee, we all hate, so we can all agree on that. No, Matt Bovee.
That's just not good at his job, so I could understand why you guys wouldn't like him. I mean, I don't. I'm only working on this for Joe B, not for Matt.
He better never hear this.
I need this job. I know. I'm kidding, Matt. I love you.
We had some big Bills day. We're recording this on Tuesday around 5:30. Boogie Basham trade was the highlight of the day today to the Giants for a swap of late round 2025 picks, the future considerations of the NFL world. What do we think? Are we going to miss Boogie Basham? Are we okay with it? Are we mad that a second round pick got nothing?
You guys are pretty fired. Are we doing the whole podcast on late round future considerations and the significance of them?
That's normally where we start and we go down from there.
It's funny. My first thought was it's a waste of a pick. I mean, I think when they made the pick, people were wondering, why did you take another pass rusher that night anyway? And it's, well, you never have enough pass rushers, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I think it's a waste of a pick. And I get it. People are tweeting out, you're not happy they spent a pick on the kid, but at least they cut their losses and they didn't hang on to him. Well, if they cut their losses, it means they wasted the pick to begin with. And he didn't pan out the way they wanted to. And, and they had taken Rousseau. So yeah, I wasn't really thrilled with the pick. And I'm sorry it didn't work out, but that's a second round pick that probably should have been used on a different position at the time.
I wonder how much learning they had to do. So you have McDermott, who obviously loves defense, loves defensive ends, and Bean, who's just kind of feeling the job out. Maybe Bean thought he was so set at line, so set at receiver, so set at quarterback and running. Like maybe he just thought, well, we can just keep spending a bunch of picks on defensive ends and one of them will work out and it will come back to bite us. And then Gabe Davis isn't that great. Like the line might not be that great. Now we have problems with it, but hopefully they learn from it and they stop drafting defensive ends. But
well, I mean, it's a fair point. And a couple things to keep in mind. You mentioned McDermott, right? Bean too. Every time you hear Bean and McDermott talk about how you build a team, how many times do you hear him talk about you build a team up front? You build your lines. You obviously want to get your franchise quarterback, but these guys are both very big on building up front, offensive and defensive lines, and look at the assets they've spent on the defense. Doesn't seem like they've been, spending at least the high draft pick assets on the offensive line, although they did with Torrance. But also keep in mind too, Greg, in their defense, like I said, in hindsight, it's easy to say it's a wasted pick. In their defense, Von Miller wasn't here when they drafted Boogie Basham. Epinesa was iffy in terms of his future. Leonard Floyd wasn't here when they drafted Boogie Basham. So the personnel up front have changed since they drafted him. And I think now you look at it, you can say for sure in terms of a numbers game, Basham wasn't on his way to a second contract here, so you might as well just move him now.
Well, and it's interesting because we're conditioned to think that D-line is so deep, but you look at next year, and the only defensive line players under contract next year, Von Miller, Rousseau, Ed Oliver, and Kingsley Jonathan. So I hope you don't get too excited about an offensive tackle or wide receiver early next year, because that line is going to need people again, unless they go the 1 year stopgap route, which has been probably working more than their draft strategy has.
No, you're right. I think that's a good point. And as I said, every time we think about the lines, I always come back to, I hear their voices in my head. And yeah, it's definitely been, I think, weighed more heavily towards the defensive side of the ball. And that's probably a McDermott thing. So sure, there are no, Rousseau will get a second contract. I wonder about Epinesa. I didn't think he'd get a second contract. Maybe he does now because they traded Basham away. But they still have some players they need to bring in, young players to fill the defensive line going forward.
Epinesa is the most exciting player in that he's always really close to doing something all the time. Yeah. Like, man, that dude, when that dude finally sacks someone, it's going to be it's going to be like Andy Dufresne getting out of the sewer pipe. Like when Epinesa finally grabs hold of a quarterback, he's always so close every single time, but he never does any. Never gets.
But that's the problem, right? He doesn't do it. We always, when we talk about AJ Epinesa, we talk about, do you remember that one game against Miami? Or we pick out moments with AJ Epinesa. It's not a consistent body of work with him. It's a flash here and a flash there. And we say, well, he's going to turn that into a more of a consistent body of work. And he hasn't. So yeah, I mean, at some point they're going to have to make a decision on the next contract for him. And I don't think he's played well enough to deserve a second contract at that point.
Yeah. The Boogie Basham thing sucks. One, solid name, Boogie, always fun to say. But that's a rough 3-year stretch for being in the second and essentially third round from 2019 to 2021 of Cody Ford in 2019, Epinesa 2020, Boogie Basham 2021, and then you could go Spencer Brown after that in the third round, Zach Moss in 2020. That's just a rough 3-year stretch of drafting guys that either two of them are gone and three of them are gone. And then one is just Epinesa, who we said is like a decent rotational player, but like never so far hasn't taken a next step. So maybe Bean, changes his philosophy on drafting after those 3 years. That's what I'm hoping. Can't keep having second round misses.
No, you're right. But you know what? This is, I don't know. I'm going to come out a little bit left field with this, but this is, again, part of why you got to find your franchise quarterback. Because you know what, guys? Franchise quarterbacks, they hide any warts that are in the organization. Misses in free agency, like New England, right? Go back and look at New England's drafting record for the last 10 years of Brady, or even some of their free agent signings. But we never brought up the fact that, they really have missed on some personnel decisions. It never really was a problem because you had, this great quarterback playing. So as long as you have Josh Allen, you can get away with some misses in the draft and some misses occasionally. But I think their free agents for the most part have worked out. Some trades obviously have worked out, Diggs being probably at the top of the list. But yeah, the second round, day 2 of the draft picks actually so the last few years. It doesn't burn them because you've got a franchise quarterback that kind of hides everything.
Having Josh Allen is like me going to a nice restaurant. I can be as slovenly and disgusting, but I have my wife with me. So we have a seat for you right over here. With this guy with his cargo shorts with gravy stains all over, his disgusting human being. But his wife, she ups the game a little bit. So that's nice. Get you one of those. Yeah, that's right. All you kids listening out there. That's how you get seats at the fancy restaurants.
Marry up.
Yeah, right.
We have probably an 80% idea of most of the cuts. Andy Isabella didn't make the team after all the preseason hype there, neither 7th round pick. Ike Butker, or as Kyle called him, Buttigieg. You won't be able to call him Buttigieg anymore. He didn't make the team. Not too many surprises. Kingsley Jonathan made it. Ryan Van DeMark, Alec Anderson. It's good to see them go young at the offensive line.
Did you mention the guy that died and is making the team? Like that
DeMar Hamlin, yes, made the team.
I thought it was amazing.
It's amazing.
Well, he's alive now.
yeah. Just in case it's your first Bills podcast, that guy didn't make the team. He is alive and he's thriving now. So
that it is amazing, but I never bought into that he would not make the team.
Oh, you scared me. I thought you were going to say that nothing ever that was a fake DeMar Hamlin. I wanted conspiracy theories here. Yeah, no, it was pretty clear once he was clear for contact that he was going to make the team. So yeah.
But I was going to say, nice to see them go young on the offensive line. I think we've had a couple years where we've had those like Quessenberry. I forget that other tackle, the older tackle that everyone was not a fan of.
Quessenberry 2.
Quessenberry 2.
Are you talking about Spencer Brown?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember your name.
I think he played for the Bengals at some point, but whatever his name was.
Oh, Bobby Hart.
Yes, Bobby. Yes.
Okay.
I watch football.
There you
go. Well, that's, again, right. That's another area where you better hope. I mean, I think really hope Spencer Brown pans out, by the way, because it is a 3rd round pick. It's a guy that they put a lot of faith in this offseason and really resisted. They brought a guard in who is starting now, but they kind of said, hey, guys, don't worry about offensive tackle. We don't need competition. Trust us. Brown's going to be fine. But developing those young offensive linemen, that's something they need to do a little bit better. Dawkins was here. Ford didn't pan out. Morse was a free agent signing. So, what's left? It's Spencer Brown and hopefully Torrance turns out to be a nice pickup.
Some interesting, I feel like Bills fans fall in one of two camps. Either they couldn't care less about the backup QB or it's the only thing they care about. But like some interesting names out there. Bailey Zappi from the
New
Pats
England has no backup quarterback right now.
Well, when you got Mac Jones, I mean, when you got
that'll motivate your starter and getter.
Cole McCoy is out there, and I don't know if you saw this. Nathan Peterman, bring our boy home.
He got cut.
Yeah, he's out there.
No.
He'll be on their practice squad. He never dies. He's the Jason Voorhees of the NFL.
So if I don't care about backup quarterbacks, I don't know if that's football blasphemy, but let's face it, if Josh is out for any extended amount of time, I think they're screwed. So I don't really spend a lot of losing sleep, waiting. Backup quarterback, just tell me who it is and I'll pray that he doesn't play.
I got good news for you. Greg Bauk is the new backup quarterback for the Buffalo Bills.
Shin splints and all.
I could complete one pass. Texas is always open. Even I can complete a pass.
Complete a pass.
Yes, I could. In the shotgun, I can complete one pass.
There's no way. There's a 0% chance.
No, James Cook will turn around and I will throw it to him and he will catch it. Doesn't mean it'll be for a gain.
No.
I can 100% I can complete a pass in the NFL.
I don't think so.
Shotgun snap, yes. They're not getting that fast. The line will block for me.
I think we talked about this. Are you talking about like a pitch? Or like a cock back?
I catch I might have catching the snap. I'll bet you that's harder. Yes. I will catch it. James Cook will turn around. I will throw him the ball overhand.
Past the line of scrimmage? There's no way.
No, not past the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's a pass. That's what counts as a pass. Otherwise, it's a handoff.
No, it's a forward pass. Like he's behind the tackle. He turns. I throws it to him. He completes it. 1 yard loss.
That's not good. Your average depth of target isn't good enough. We need a bigger throw.
Yeah, we need you to go past the line of scrimmage. It needs to be a completed pass, and I don't think you could do that.
I think I would take the snap and throw it directly into the air and run away from like Aaron Donald or whoever's chasing me down.
I think that's what would happen too.
You would pay to see it. It would be hilarious, especially with my bad feet. I would be like, "Oh,
dude, you could wear an In the Hunt jersey."
Promote the podcast, right? And the other side of the jersey would be Howard's new show, leading the charge. So
I would a Greg Buck call of you playing.
I'll see what I can do, Howard. Maybe that'll be inserted into the podcast. We'll see.
Our main thing we kind of want to talk. This is our season preview episode, so we want to preview the season. We want to get takes that we could look back and laugh on. Do we think the Bills are going to do Are they going to win the division? Are they going to win the Super Bowl? Are they going to battle it out for Arizona for the last number 1 draft pick? I want some thoughts here.
We'll start there. Anyone who thinks they won't win the division?
I'm not going to talk.
There we go.
No, I think they're they'll win the division. I think Miami's the I've said before, Miami's the real deal. I don't think the Jets are. Miami scares me. If Tua plays all 17 games, it's going to be down to the last game.
I think I'm a reverse. I see the positives and the negatives with both. I love Miami's coaching staff, but Ramsey's out. I don't trust Tua to make it that far. It was bad in the final stretch last season. I think his numbers up a little bit. I think people
his brain was foggy. He's fine.
That's true. That's fair. But he's a timing guy. I think you jam those receivers a little bit. I feel like he's lost.
That's how I quarterback. I'm a timing guy.
That's true.
Howard, how are you feeling going into it?
How quickly can you run in the other direction? I think they'll still win the division. I don't know, guys. In terms of the threat, because it's kind of weird. I'm with you. Everybody says the same thing with Miami. I bet every single football fan goes ... if Tua stays healthier. Actually, it'd be that and then ... But there's something about the Jets that I guess I'm waiting to see. I didn't think Aaron Rodgers looked shot. So I'm waiting to see what they did last year. What did they get? 7 wins. They had an offensive rookie of the year with crap at quarterback. I mean, they had nothing at quarterback, and they still won 7 games. So
they beat us.
Shot. And that, unless their defense maybe slips a little bit, right? Maybe it comes down a little bit, but their skill position players are really good. The running backs, the wide receivers, the tight end, Uzama, I'm a big fan. I would be worried about the Jets, honestly, being a threat at the end more so, a little bit more than Miami, because I would give Rodgers the edge even over a healthy Tua.
Yeah,
you're a Long Island type guy, though, aren't you? From those parts with family in those parts?
I am. I was born and raised a fan of the Jets, Jets. So I know a lot about Jets fans being disappointed.
Yeah, and also just probably not able to even be excited about the season.
Well, I think Jets fans are fatalistic by nature. So it's
I should have been a Jets fan.
One of these things about this is why we can't have good things, or it's just, I think as a Jet fan, you're waiting for like Aaron Rodgers someone's going to tweet that Aaron like blew out an ACL in the shopping at a supermarket, picking up groceries. I think Jet fans are excited, but honestly, there's a little voice in the back of your head going, it's the Jets. So you never know.
I mean, the thing with Miami and the Jets is like, I have no idea. They could win 7 games. They could win 13. I just have no idea what either team is going to do. I would guess one is going to be pretty good and the other is going to fade a little bit. Like one's going to be a playoff team, one isn't. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a tougher, sled for the division. I'm going to say 11-6. That's going to be my Bills prediction. 11-6, maybe win the division by
Bills.
1 game. Yeah.
I
coming down 2 games.
I'd be amazed if they didn't.
Tough schedule.
I'd be amazed if they didn't win 13 games again. It's not even me being a homer. I think they were so good last year, and just everything bad happened. The 3 losses they had were just ridiculously stupid. I know teams got better. I really do think they got better. I think addressing the inside of the line is a big deal. I just think the complementary receivers they got is a big deal. They'll catch the ball. That's kind of huge. I don't know. Von Miller coming back healthy after 4 weeks. I don't know. I see them being exactly as they were last season, and it'll be about the breaks. But
I don't disagree. I just think the schedule is so much tougher that you got to play Philly and the Chiefs and the Chargers.
Yeah, every year though, that schedule always changes though.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, the Chiefs are obviously going to be good again, just like the Bills are going to be good again, but that can go up and down. Like teams like the Bengals sometimes are bad for no reason eventually. Now, I know I could say the same thing about the Bills, but teams that kind of just come up out of nowhere, sometimes that doesn't sustain itself for no obvious reason.
Last year's Ravens may be a good example of that,
I think they'll be better than they were last year. I'm kind of afraid of the Ravens, but we'll see. I think that they're
have to worry about. I think you have to worry about a team on the rise like Jacksonville, who plays in a soft division, so they should roll to a division title. And I'm in that group of always thinking, wow, look out for the Chargers, and then of course they Charger, and we go, why do I keep getting on the Chargers bandwagon? But I just think that's a talented group. But I think they'll win the division. I would not pick the Bills as a Super Bowl favorite. I'm not even convinced they'll be one seed. I'm not even thinking about that, guys, quite honestly. And I think part of that is, like you said, tougher schedule, tougher division. Now you got two really tough teams in there. So honestly, I'm thinking you win the division, and then we'll see what happens in the playoffs. Maybe they put a run together, but I don't feel the same way about them as I did going into last season when I was thoroughly convinced they could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But hey, this is maybe the time then we do it, because like
Greg said,
radar. Yeah, we're under the radar and so much wrong, especially at the end of the second half of last season that, who knows?
You know what I'm looking forward to? Seeing if Ken Dorsey can actually progress as a coach and maybe do the whole scheming people open, make things easy. Looked like it in that last preseason game, but who knows? Everyone always tells you not to pay attention to any preseason game. Is there a way that if the offense looks like it did in the second half of the season, even though they were still great in points, but there's a reason we all still talked about it, is there a way where Ken Dorsey doesn't make it through the season? If the offense is still looking difficult, Stephon Diggs is getting mad, the whole thing, is there a way? They got Joe Brady on staff. He called plays in Carolina. If he doesn't progress the way McDermott likes, you think McDermott would pull the trigger at some point in this season?
I think first he'd take play calling away from him. Like that's probably the first thing.
Yeah, but then give it to who? You can't just take that. You can't take the offensive play calling away from the offensive coordinator and be like, but stay. I know your main job is the one thing, but
just pick up around here after the game. There's a lot of pizza boxes and orange slices. You can just take care of those. It's really important to the team.
When they have the little camera like in the booth, right? Tell Dorsey to just move his lips like he's sending a play down. He's not really talking. We won't know. We'll look like he's sending a play down.
I can't see. I can't. Yeah. Go ahead, Howard. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Greg. It's your podcast.
I was just going to make an armpit fart noise for 30 seconds. Everyone would much rather hear.
I say. So that's I wouldn't think they would do it, guys. I wouldn't. I don't think. The only reason why I think we're discussing this, you mentioned Joe Brady. Aren't there like 17 guys on the offensive staff who've been offensive coordinators at some point in their career? Right? Is Mike Shula still here, and Rob Boris and Joe Brady and all? So that's the only reason why I would even think. If it happened, McDermott has other guys who've had that job at the NFL level on his staff. I would be really surprised if that happened.
Yeah.
I think the offense would have to really be a 5-alarm fire for that to happen.
Well, when you have Howard, there's only one thing you really want him to do. And we're going to put a nice little twist on it, though, Howard. I know you knew when you were coming on the podcast that you're going to pick the Bills, but you didn't know how exactly you were going to pick the Bills. So I know you thought you escaped this, and I know in your heart of hearts you'll never really escape this. So why don't we have Howard pick some Bills, Sean? How's that going to work?
I'm contractually obligated to GR. You guys, it's a legal copyright.
This will still work. Trust me. You don't need a lawyer.
We put forward this then.
So we put a little twist on it.
Awesome.
To pick the Bills here, I want you to pick a Bill between Bill Gates, Bill Murray, or Bill Nye.
Ooh, Bill Murray.
All right. Oh, that's a slam dunk.
That was an easy one. You knew he was going to pick that.
I like comics. I like people who make me laugh. Right, Greg?
That must be why you hate me.
well, that's an easy one to start off. Now let's go into pick a Bill football edition.
Okay.
Billy Joe Hobart, Bill Belichick, or Bill Romanowski.
Oh God!
Oh man,
that's a really
what a terrible group.
I know.
The group of death. This version of the group of death from soccer.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pick Belichick. Romanowski was kind of a racist, right? And
I think so.
I don't know if it was a kind of a racist.
Was a racist. Did he bite somebody?
Yeah, so I found this when I was doing research into him. Look at this from in 2003, a teammate had to retire after Romanowski crushed his eye socket with a punch in practice. And listen to this. This is directly from his Wikipedia. A top tier sentence. that you never want written about you. Romanowski has been accused of being racist at many points during his career and after retirement. Like they couldn't even list all of them. They just had to. It happened many times.
By the way, the crush the eye socket thing, actually, Greg used to do that to interns at GR.
I believe
nobody knew the story, but that's actually why he left the station.
When you make as much as I do, you don't want anyone coming for you. So I had to keep them down. Like no one's taking my $4.25 an hour.
By default, it has to be Billy Joe Hobart.
Yeah. Even
though he decided not to actually prepare for a football game that he didn't think he would get in.
What an amazing. Were you in Buffalo during that time? Were you here for that?
I remember listening to Bulldog talk about it after the game.
Well, it was Parker that had him on. Parker had him on, and he admitted on the air he did not right. Like he didn't read. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. He said it in post game, and then Parker had him on the show. That's how it happened. So.
Okay.
So just in case anyone's listening, they don't know who Billy Joe Hobart is. He was a backup quarterback for the Bills to Alex Van Pelt, maybe, and he found his way into the game and played horribly. And admitted he didn't really read the playbook. And then Bulldog on would have been probably on BEN at the time where he started, brought it up like, dude,
was that we looked? It's funny. Somebody brought this up the other day, and we actually looked it up. Was that Collins here too? Was it Todd Collins, Van Pelt, and Billy Joe?
Yes, it was those three. We had an amazing three-headed quarterback juggernaut of Collins, Van Pelt, and Hobart. Although Van Pelt was a really cool guy and decent. He broke all of Dan Marino's records at Pitt.
Did you know Fitz played at Harvard?
He used to wear his wedding ring.
No kidding, I didn't know that. Wow.
Did you know Marcus Patton's mom was a linebacker?
Did you know? Was it Chris Hogan played lacrosse?
Yes,
Let's bring all these out.
Yeah, that's right. We're doing great.
Last pick a bill.
Yeah,
this is comedian edition here, so this might be tough here.
This is much more entertaining than the one I do on GR. So I like.
All right, great. So Kyle's going to take Joe B's place, and I'm going to go to GR. We have a bunch of jobs lined up here. This is great. Pick a Bill. Bill Burr, Bill Hader, Billy Crystal.
Oh, I love.
He's going to pick Crystal. What's that?
Yeah. He's a Long Island guy. I have to go with Billy Crystal. I love Billy Crystal. Everything he does is fantastic.
Where has he been? Is it once they got rid of comic? I haven't seen him doing anything.
Yeah, you almost think he'd have a streaming show, like
Okay.
They gave Rob Schneider a couple shows in the past 5 years. Billy Crystal. I liked the movie when he was with the Giant. How fun is that?
Oh,
My Giant.
My Giant. That's it. Me, myself, and my Giant. You know that one.
Billy Crystal. Yeah, definitely Billy Crystal.
All right. Okay. What? How about you? How about you guys? What's the rest of the thoughts on that one?
I'm going Bill Hader.
I like Bill Burr. Bill Hader's more of an actor than a comic.
Yeah, but
he's that show Barry is
great,
absolutely outstanding. I love that. Saw Bill Burr at the Arena. It was one of the funniest shows I've ever seen in my life. He was pretty good. So
all right, we got a three-way split. That's nice.
What was the first? I missed the first one. I got a phone bill.
They're cuts, by the way, guys.
Oh, any good ones?
I mean, I could read the whole list. Well, names you care about. Okay, hold on. AJ Klein. You guys mentioned already.
Wow.
Isabella, you guys mentioned. So
Josh Allen cut. That's amazing.
Marlowe. Josh Allen. Who's this Allen guy on the list? Not him. Yeah, that's about it. AJ Klein, Dean Marlowe, Barkley goes on Von Miller's on reserve pup.
Yeah.
Kyle Allen wins the starting backup job as of right now. And I guess Dotson's the starting linebacker, even though for all 3 games, everyone was like, oh, that guy's terrible.
Yeah.
I think that Klein getting cut might mean that Terrell Bernard is like healthy enough. And
he started practicing, and then at that point, you just like, well, this guy, I know he only played in, I think, the first preseason game, but good enough. You're in. He hasn't even practiced in 2 weeks.
Someone tweeted out a video, and I know like a tweet does not like tell the whole story of someone's like ability to play football. Someone tweeted a Taylor Rapp highlight to show how well he was at tackling, and I watched it, and then I watched it again and saw Dodson on the play and how just bad his instinct was on the play on shooting the gap and making a tackle. Like, we're watching the wrong thing in this video. Check out Tyler Dodson and how bad he is. Tyrell Dodson.
Making me feel better, Greg. Not really.
Bernard will be fine. So, yeah.
Well, we always end with a trivia game. Before that, I would like to mention we have a sponsor for our podcast. We're in the big times now.
Big
Revolver
money.
Records,
Wow.
baby. Are you a record guy, Howard?
Yeah, I still, in fact, in my mom's house in the basement, we still have a whole bunch of 45s and LPs that
There
we
you
used
go.
to in the 70s. We were very, very big into vinyl. Yes.
Well, Revolver Records, 4 locations in Buffalo, and they buy records. So if you ever want to sell some of those, see what you got there, go to Revolver Records, sell them. And you know what? If you go to revolverrecordsinc.com, use the coupon code INTHEHUNT10, you get 10% off.
My favorite record story, you guys remember the little 45s where you used to have to buy the that little insert thing that went on the spindle.
Toilet
Anyway,
paper tube. Yeah.
we got a 45. Don McLean's American Pie came out on 45. The song was so long, it would fade out on side one. You'd have to flip the 45 over to the backside.
I never heard that before.
It was an 8-minute song or whatever the heck it was.
Who were the record executives that decided that was a good idea?
There's a
That's
little voice at the end. Please now flip to side 2. Seriously, I'm pretty sure I have that. I mean, again, it's 50 years ago, but I'm pretty sure you have to flip it over because they couldn't fit an 8-minute song on one side of a 45.
Bring it to Revolver Records. I have a feeling Phil would offer you a good price for that if you guys still want
I'll
it. So,
check it out next time I'm home. Yeah.
So we end with a quick trivia game here. I got 3 questions. We always play for a jersey, so the winner gets a Boogie Basham jersey. So Howard, if you get it, I'll send it to you in the mail.
It doesn't exist, Howard. He's
I was
not.
gonna
No, that's not true. But this
Probably
this one
discount rack.
exists.
Yeah.
So we have 3 questions. Howard, we'll start with you for the first question here. Who had more carries last year? Was it Zach Moss, Isaiah McKenzie, or Case Keenum times 3?
Oh, I love this. And you know what? Just for the sake of, I hope it's the answer, I'll go Case Keenum times 3.
Okay, going Case Keenum times 3. Greg, we'll go to you next.
3 times 2 is 6. McKenzie didn't do a lot of toss sweeps, so I'm putting him out. I'm gonna say
Moss got injured, remember?
I know, but I don't know if he ever carried the ball. I'm gonna say Zach Moss. Don't answer my question. Stay over there.
All right,
I'm not Jeremy. You can't just boss me around.
Kyle, what do you got?
My memory serves me is
And it normally does not, but go ahead.
it does not. Zach Moss basically was the starting running back for the first 3 weeks last year. So I'm gonna go Zach Moss.
Well, you know what? And this normally doesn't happen, but Greg and Kyle get the point. It's Zach Moss had 17 carries last year, Isaiah McKenzie 9, and Case Keenum had 5 times 3, 15.
I don't remember
close.
any of him even getting in the game. A Case Keenum.
Well, you know what? I think kneel downs, count as carries, so it's probably a couple end of game kneel downs.
Neil Downs is my favorite folk singer. I have some of his 45s.
Yes, you
You
go to
got to
Revolver
flip him
Records.
over. I bet you didn't know
Dude.
that.
Yeah, Neil Downs. Live at Woodstock.
Question 2.
I don't know why I did Bob Dylan to Neil Downs, but Bob Dylan was Neil Downs was a huge influence on
Okay. That makes sense now.
that. Not everyone knows that.
Greg, what number is higher? Is it UB's ranking in a preseason list of 2023's top college football programs that I found on The Athletic, or Stephon Diggs' receptions last year? So UB's place on top college football programs preseason ranking, or Stephon Diggs' receptions last year.
So if you know they're not 100, but the program is so much fun. They haven't been ranked as high lately. I will say, and Diggs, I think, had 90 catches or something like that. I'm gonna say UB's higher.
All right, go UB. Let's go Howard next.
I'm with Greg. I think UB's got to be, not in the low 100s. I don't even know how many teams are left in Division One, but I'll say UB's higher.
Okay, Kyle, you're gonna make it 3 for 3.
No, I think I'm gonna try to pull ahead here.
Okay.
By a lot. So I think I'm gonna go with Diggs because there are so many Nebraskas out there who haven't been ranked in 20 years, but they would destroy UB. So I'm gonna go Diggs receptions. I forgot the question, but I know I want to go Diggs receptions.
Greg and Howard get the point. UB was ranked 98. Stephon Diggs had 108 receptions.
We're tied. We're all tied. 3-way tie.
No, 2-1-1. You got 2, Greg.
You're
Okay,
winning,
two.
Greg.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
It's a lot
we
to
all know
keep
how.
track of, Greg.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
Well,
been
I
too
don't
much.
ever win at trivia,
That's
Howard.
true.
I'm not very good.
Well, so this is the last question. There's a tiebreaker if necessary. I really like this question. We start with Greg since he's ahead, so the other, so he can't.
So I can't cheat. Yes.
Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers recently spoke at a psychedelic conference.
True.
Okay.
No.
I'm going to read 3 blurbs. One of them is not a quote from Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Two of these things he said. One of the things he did not say. You got to tell me the fake Aaron Rodgers quote. Okay. Okay. So here it is. Here's A. You know, words are so interesting. They have such power in their spells. There's a reason it's called spelling, because the way that the letters are put together have such power. That's A. B. Is it not ironic that the things that actually expand your mind are illegal, and the things that keep you in the lower chakras and dumb you down have been legal for centuries? That's B.
Chakra. That sounds like a Rogers word. Go ahead.
C. I have never joined the Mile High Club, but I have joined the Really High Club. So those are the 3. Which one did he not say?
Okay.
Is it the one about spelling? Is it the one about chakras? Or is it the one about the Mile High Club?
I'm going to say chakra is like the quintessential Rogers word. So he said B in my mind. Mm-hmm. And then it's between A and C. C's so stupid, but he is stupid. I'm going to go against my gut and say A.
Okay. Hey, well, let's go to Howard next.
I'm with you. I think B, the chakras, 1,000% he had to say that. So I'm down to A and C, and I'm going to go C is too easy. It's not deep enough for Aaron Rodgers. A was deeper than C. C anybody could say off the street. So I'm going to say he did not go with C. It's too simple.
Okay. Kyle.
I'm going to go with the exact, but Greg already picked A. I wanted to pick A because to me that sounds like a Jordan Peterson quote. And that's who I think you were going for the non-Aaron Rodgers, like a Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro quote. They all kind of mold. But so to get away from Greg and try to win, I'm going to go C.
Okay. Well, C is correct.
Yes.
So first of all, C, by the way, is from Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo. So we have a 3-way tie here. We're going to do the tiebreaker. And the tiebreaker, how many career sacks does Boogie Basham have?
Ooh, closest?
We'll go closest gets it. We're going to start with Howard.
Really quick, Howard might not know this. It's not without going over, God rest Bob Barker's soul.
Correct.
It is just closest. You can go over if you need to. Okay.
All right, I'm going to go 5.5.
Okay, going 5.5. Let's go to Kyle next.
Smart. So I'm gonna go 4.5.
I'm gonna say 8. 8 was the number I had in my head. So going last did not benefit me. But
Kyle, right on the money. 4.5. Well done.
This is 2 in a row, man.
Sending you that Boogie Basham jersey. Congrats. Before as we wrap up, do you want to do a quick preview? If you got 5 minutes, Howard, do you want to talk about the Jets game here? Do you want to?
I'll do whatever you guys need me to do.
Give a prediction of the Jets game then. Radio boy.
I think
I pulled out my Richard Reimer.
Wow, let's going back away. You flustered me, Greg. I think the Bills will win the game. I do. I think there's something to be said to getting the Jets early in the season, and and Rodgers and trying to get used to the offense and working all the parts in. And so I do think the Jets will be really good this year, but I think the Bills are going to go into opening night and they're going to have a really big win down there. And I think I would take Buffalo. I feel pretty confident about that.
Oh, okay. I like it. I think Greg is pretty
good last year too. I mean, it was not a fun. Yeah. Neither game was that good, obviously, for the Bills offense against the Jets. So I think the Bills will have their mindset to really, do much better offensively, and I think they'll win.
And I think Greg's pretty confident too, right?
I'm not only confident in the opener, I'm confident that the Jets aren't going to be good. There's something to Aaron Rodgers not being as good as he was last year. Maybe he's in a better situation. He was not great last year. I think they're not going to be as good. And I also think of last year, I think it's going to be a lot like the Rams game. Big hype up. I think the Bills would be ready. The way he played them, McDermott played them in the last preseason game, and they just looked completely fine-tuned and ready. I really liked it. I think they outclassed the Jets, and I think they're going to win by a couple of touchdowns.
Oh, I love it. I love that the Jets are home. I think they have all the pressure. They're home. They got a young team. They don't know what these expectations are like. Monday night. I actually think that all kind of gives us an edge. I'd almost be more worried if we were home in a weird
I get it.
sense.
I get it.
I think the Bills win too. But nothing would surprise me just because I have no idea, like I said, how the Jets and Dolphins are going to be. We could win 42-7. We could lose 42-7. It could be close. I have no idea. I'm going to predict a small Bills, like a 27-21 victory, but nothing would surprise me in week 1 in this game.
Okay. Kyle?
I think it's going to be pretty close. I think it's going to start sloppy, and I think the Jets squeak it out 50-10. So. Just a small squeak. What the Bills could do, I just thought a key to the game.
Give up before it starts?
I just thought of a key to the game. If the Bills can do this instead, they might be able to win. You know how it's New York, so they're going to get somebody pretty crazy for the hype up, the pregame hype up speech. Bring them
I tell you, when I went to the LA opener last year, and it was The Rock.
The Rock. Yeah.
See, it was The Rock. So
maybe they'll get Billy Crystal.
him and his little afro out there. He's like 5'2". I had a giant once. He died. I think whoever they get, Bills fans kidnap, and then we send out Sean Payton from the Broncos, and he just reaffirms the things that he said about Nate Hackett, and then he's so distraught that he still can't coach. Can't coach regardless. So I don't think it's going to help. Even if Hackett doesn't show up, I think Rodgers will just be like, I got it, man. You're just my friend. So
that's a smart idea. I think we should tap into the PA system, get Sean Payton to just kind of, really go all out, and all of a sudden,
Did I mention Hackett's the shittiest coach ever existed? Hackett's like, wait, what?
Fans, turn your attention to the scoreboard where we mentioned how bad of a coach Nate Hackett was. All right, that's
good idea. That's it. Howard, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Tell us about before you go your show again. Plug your show again.
I'm still learning about it. It's I think Matt tweeted it's Monday nights at 7. So Leading the Charge, Channel 7 with Matt Bove, Joe Biscaglia, and we're taping a show tomorrow morning before the season begins, and then I think we're doing a live show prior to the Monday night opener against the Jets.
Oh, awesome. Great.
Well, thanks
for making time for us. If you want to take anything we said about the season preview, you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything I said, anything Sean said.
Yeah. No, I'm taking it all in, fellas. If you find me feeling it, that's not copyright infringement, or I'm not going to get in trouble.
Yeah, we can't afford a little hair. You're good.
that Sean Payton thing could be big. So.
I think the kidnapping the pre-hype guy and 50-10. I mean, there's some gold. There is some gold being played out on the show right
Just
now.
don't roll it out yet.
Okay.
Quickly, Greg and Kyle, you got any shows to promote here at the end?
Oh, I have a show the 30th, but I don't know where yet, so I won't plug it. I'll plug it next podcast. I'm serious. I don't know where it is yet, but I do have a show, so I'm still doing things.
When's my next show? I got a show. No. When's this coming out? September?
In a couple days, 4th? Probably. Yeah, sure.
It comes out today. If you're listening, it came out today.
Yeah. Have a good Labor Day, everybody, and. I think I got a show on the 7th at Helium Comedy Club there.
There you go. Hey, you know what's big? We talk, Howard, to catch you up. We have a couple listeners in Sweden. And we talk to them a lot because it's a big deal. I'm doing comedy in Europe next week.
Wow.
So if we some of our European listeners, and we have like 7, I'll be in Portugal, Norway, Denmark, and Netherlands opening
Holy
up for
cow.
Mark Norman. So come say
How
Sweeto
close
to me.
is that to Sweden? Do you know? Did you look that
I
up?
think, well,
It's on the same continent.
Wouldn't Denmark be close? I'm telling you. Here, trivia question number 4. Which of the countries is closest to Sweden?
Howard, we don't do geography on this pod.
I'm starting to sweat a little bit.
Spelling and geography, nothing I did.
Well, they're all Nordic countries, so Sweden's right up there with Norway and Denmark. They're close. I don't know,
Hey,
how
take
much.
the train in, Swedes.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweeto.
So hopefully I'll see if you're one of our Swedish listeners, this is the closest one of us will ever be. Come say hi, and and that's it.
And the cool thing is you're going to do each show in the local dialect, right? I mean, you're going to
absolutely.
Yeah,
Kyle's been training me. As you could tell, he's a man of languages. So
He's a cultural attaché.
So I'll be ready to go.
That's good.
And thanks again, Howard. That was our show. Sign up for the Patreon. Have a good Labor Day, and that's it.
Don't ever change.
Don't ever change.
Ooh, Greg, odds ain't gonna get easier. Ooh, Kyle couldn't have been righter. Ooh, Sean, tell us things will get better. Ooh, guys, things should be fine now. Someday, yeah, we'll get it together and we'll win that ball. Hopefully before your blue cheese expires. Someday, yeah, we'll have that parade in 4 feet of snow. Someday when you're old and retired.